Folks, please bear with me as I tag some folks, and I will be getting started in a few minutes. Here we go. All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to each and every one of you out there today. This is Brother Tyrone, your global international kingdom reporter on this 27th day of February of 2022. As this is something is totally different right now, and as you can see, I'm talking to you all hands free right now. I am at the home right now. I am right here in Canoga Park, and just want to thank to each and once again to Brother Ed. Happy birthday to you, Brother Ed. God bless you, and best wishes and many wishes to you. Thank you so much for having me at your home for your birthday yesterday. I truly had a very wonderful time, and the delicious food that you have, and also meeting all your family. Excuse me, meeting all your family as well. The reason that I am out here today, here in Canoga Park, and I'm outside on this nice, very beautiful day right now, is I know I was supposed to have went live a few minutes ago, but the conversation that I have had with this brother that he's going to be sharing with you was very interesting. And it was one of those conversations to where you just sit and just listen. No interruption or nothing or anything. The person that I'm going to be introducing to you to is just one extraordinary individual, one extraordinary brother. If I had ever known anyone or anybody, he plays a huge part in the community, in his neighborhood in Canoga Park. He always has cruise nights over here in Canoga, whether it's here in Canoga Park, Van Nuys Boulevard, or over at Brand Park. And I can tell you also too that when he does put the cruises together, you can best believe and know that I will never be disappointed, because the cruises that he always puts together, it's just more than one spectacular show, one spectacular sight to see. He plays a huge part, and plus not only that, he is also known as Cookie Productions as well, also too. And he's going to share with us, about his life, and what also got him into lowriding, and what also gave him the passion and the drive for it as well also too. And any of you, that's watching, please feel free, if you got like any question, like questions or something, or whatever comes first, put it on, send it on the message page, and try to do our best, to answer them for you. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, the brother that I would love to introduce to you, and like I said, I do see him out in the community all the time, just out there, just doing the work of what God has called him to do, or what God has called me to do when I do my coverages as well also too. And this is a brother, like I said, just extraordinary. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you the brother and the person of the hour. And this is Brother Cookie right here, that whom I will only just know. I know it's brother, correct me if I'm wrong, Brother Junior Juarez, right? Okay. But everybody in the community all calls him Cookie for short, and call him Cookie for short. And Brother Cookie, once again, I want to just take this time to just say thank you so much for having me in your home, welcoming me in your home, and also for this time, for this extraordinary interview, we'll be having with you, in which we did earlier. You can very much say did a pre-interview, because this brother, he did share a lot of stories with me, and he's going to be sharing some with you. And before I go any further, hello, Sister Lisa, how you doing? And Brother Anthony Amato, thank you all so much for watching. And Brother Guzman fam, thank you all for watching. You are watching the live cast of me interviewing Brother Cookie out here in Canoga Park this morning. And Brother Cookie, like I said, once again, thank you so much for this time, and it's always a pleasure, always not just a pleasure, but a blessing meeting you as well, also too. Totally a blessing. Brother Cookie, what I want to do is like they say in the song, let's go back, way back, back into time to where you was born and where you live, and also back then of how much life was much simpler for you back then.
You see, well, I was born in Van Nuys, California. I've been living here in Canoga Park in the same house for almost 39 years. Um, Life was it was pretty good to me when I was growing up. You know, it's not it's not expensive as it is now. Back then, you could always get something a little cheap. Now kind of expensive. Depending on what you want, so you gotta work a little extra harder for it. But you know, but in time, you keep pushing, you'll get what you really need and what you really want. So I've been doing that. Um, like I say, I've been living here in my house for 39 years. Fortunate that my great grandfather, when he came from Mexico, he owned the whole block. When he came over here, he he went during the depression. He kind of lost a few homes because things were getting expensive for him. So um, my great grandma, she's the one that kept our house going for us. And when my great grandfather passed away, he left it to my dad, and um, my dad, when I was born, brought us here, after leaving Valley Pedestrian Hospital. Been growing up here in Canoga Park my whole life, and seeing the neighborhood change also. Back then was more family oriented. Now you got all these new apartments, new people moving in. But kind of the same thing in any city now. Wherever you go, the community change, price values go up, and sometimes you struggle, but you make ends meet, and you. One thing that always keeps me going is remembering family history and family struggles. Knowing what they went through just to keep what they have. There's, I know some people that they really don't take that in consideration. As soon as a loved one passes or something, they want to move out right away and sell the properties and that. And to me, it's different. You want to keep the family legacy going. You just think about all the struggles that your grandparents or our parents went through just to get a roof over your head and make sure you're fine in that. So, me, I won't go anywhere. I'll stay here and teach my kids the same thing as my parents are teaching me. Go to school, get a good job, and when they start having a family, always put them first. That's the main thing. The family always comes first before anything, and making sure you have a shelter over yourself also. So that's something I take take in consideration all the time. Regardless of the situation of what we're in. So that's like I say, just try to go everyday life. Make the best out of it.
And you have and you also have also have you also even also have made the best as well also too, and you also talked about your dad, and I always see and not only that, I've seen pictures of your pops as well also too, and I have also have seen your mom
Yeah.
at cruise nights as well also too. How your mom and dad play a huge role in your life.
Oh, my mom and dad, they played a big role, in my life. My mom and dad, they met they met cruising in San Fernando Mall. Back when my dad had a white '64 and my mom had a '66 Chevy Impala at that time, and they met cruising in San Fernando Mall. My mom's originally from San Fernando. My dad was originally from Canoga Park, so they met cruising. They hooked up and hit it off, and they got married, and they had kids, and that's when I came in the picture. And my dad's always been working on cars, and he got me into it with the '66 that he was building. I would always, when I was little, I always used to be after him to finish his car. Let's go to car shows and that. He would always take us to the LA Sports Arena when they would have the super shows there. We would go to Johnny Carson Park with the Road Kings. My dad, he was into not just lowriders, but customs, hot rods. Anything that had to do with cars. My dad loved it. And that's how I got involved into liking cars and having the passion that I have for them now, and doing my cruise nights, my car shows, picnics, all that. It's all towards my father for getting me involved in this. You know, um, he had a '67 GTO, which we still have to this day. I learned how to do body work on that car, and that was one of my things when I was a kid. And I always wanted to open up a body shop, but unfortunately, I started getting sick and getting an illness, and I kind of lost interest in it, because I had what they call like a diabetic seizure. So my hands, my left side went all numb, so I really couldn't move at that time that much, and it kind of sucks because that's when I already had finished doing all the body work on this car with this friend named Jim that was showing me how to do body work. He's a certified welder. He was a good body man and everything, but unfortunately, I got hit with the diabetes, and just kind of took a toll on me. And, a few months later, I had a diabetic seizure, and after that, I just kind of lost interest on doing a lot of things. But my dad was, still kept telling us, "Oh, well, let's go to car shows, let's go here, let's go there," because he knew how much I loved, doing the shows, and I was, at that time, being a kid, either you worked on lowrider bikes or you worked on model cars, just to, keep things going. For me, that's where it all started. Doing model cars, working on a lowrider bike, and then you graduate up to, to a bigger, to the big cars, and take it from there. But that's how I got involved. Not only my dad and my mom played a big part, but my uncle played a big part in it also. Him and his '79 Impala. Seeing him work on it. Helping him wash it Friday night. 'Cause, he would always be out Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. Hitting all the Whittier Boulevard or Lower Canyon or going out to Santa Ana. Always watching them and always admiring, the cars, because he used to scrape the hell out of his cars. So I would always be like, man, I want to do that to my car. Then I had lot of my dad's friends that had bombs. That influenced me a lot. I used to love, even to this day, I still love bombs. That's my goal. One day, get a bomb and do it the way how I want it. But that's what got me into. That's what really got me into the lowrider thing. It's just the way how our family is and the way how our family's all involved in the lowrider scene. And like I was telling Tyrone earlier, I did my first car show when we were 8 years old here at this youth center across the street. From a good friend of mine named Lupe Perez. He was from Toys R Us Truck Club back in the days, and for the youth center, we did that car show so we could go to an amusement park, and that was something that we had Lowrider magazine come out for that show also. They took a lot of group pictures and covered the whole event. So just watching him do the event and that and helping him out, that's how I kind of got involved with doing my own events, memorizing what needs to be done from point A to point B.
And you know what, and that also would lead me, and it looked like because I was going to ask, my next question would have been, what was the drive that got you into low riding? You very much have not only covered that, but also, having your dad taking you to the super shows, as a kid, and I know with you being, with you being a kid, you probably, I know you probably said to yourself, I would love to have that, that's something that I would like to do. Before I go any further, how many in your family, how many kids are you, and who is the oldest, and where do you fall in line?
Well, I'm the baby of the family. I have two other sisters. They're older than me, but I've been the one that's more in the scene, and we went to all the scenes, all the shows because like that was something my dad liked, and we as being kids, we loved going to them, just like Devonshire Downs. They used to have shows out there right here in what was it, Northridge, I guess you could say it is Devonshire Downs, and they would have shows there. We would go there. We would go to the sports arena. We would go all over to the shows, and we would even go to Bob's Big Boys sometimes on Friday nights. Or there used to be Flames right here in Northridge, where the old Kmart was. That used to get packed with cars and that. So didn't matter what it was. We always went out to it, or we would go to Moore Park for shows. We used to go all over the place, and that's something that I do with my kids. I used to take them all over Crenshaw, Broadway. Anywhere where the cars were, we would always go and shoot pictures and do all that stuff. And that's how much love I have for the lowrider scene or custom scene, whichever automotive scene it is. We go to them and just try to support and that, and meet. You're always meeting new people, so it's something good to do.
And in California, and also and California is also California being the low riding capital of the world, because you got folks from all over the United States, and including overseas, that comes out and check it out in person. And if they don't check it out, of course they see yours truly, yours truly on my live cast, you see, and one thing that I can say for sure about California, not just California, but their low riders. I see that they put a lot of pride and effort into their cars, a lot of pride and effort, and not just that, a lot of work, which I know it takes a lot of time, which I know is also very time consuming. But when you look at when it's done after, I can see why. I can automatically see why they not only do just of what they do, but they love it as well also too. Especially and we'll get to that in a second. Your car that your dad had passed on to you, and that he gave you at 13. Get to that, get to that in a second. What had motivated you, and what gave you not just motivated you, but what gave you the drive and determination to do the Canoga Park cruise night?
Well, that's what started with the Canoga Park Cruise Night was, a lot of the businesses, right now with it's going on with this whole pandemic stuff, some of the restaurant Henry's, they approached me, hey, Cookie, what if we do something, try to help the business, a lot of businesses are closing up, and, we don't want the boulevard to look like a ghost town. So I was like, you know what? I'll start doing a cruise night. How about you guys? There's a lot of businesses out here, and that's what started with the cruise nights for us. I do other events, the Dia de los Muertos. That's always in November. But the cruise nights, I told them, we could do it one Saturday every month. Just to get things going and try to help out the businesses. And sure enough, some of the businesses stayed open, by getting that extra business, people coming in and looking or going to the restaurants to eat. So that's how I started with the cruise night. Just when people ask me for help, and sometimes it's hard to say no, but if it's going back to help your community, why not? Give them the benefit of the doubt and try to help them out. And that's and they're a big supporter for me, anyways. If I need to do something or use their spot or something, they go ahead and let me use it. So that's something that I always look forward to. As some people say, it's like teamwork. So scratch my back, scratch yours, and so that's how I started with the cruise nights for Saturday nights over here to help out the businesses stay open, and not only that, a lot of people like to come out and just get together and hang out. That's another thing. You like to see old faces and new faces and meet new people, and just everybody talk about cars or enjoy the music. Just enjoy the scenery. There was some. We tried to do something like that back then. Back in the '90s, there used to be something, but it's not as it is now. Now it's more unity. More fun, more family oriented, and it's a little bit better. Just to keep the community going and having fun out here. Yeah.
And it's also even more important as well also too of what you said, Henry's Restaurant approaching you, doing a cruise night, of keeping the businesses open, because I know with this pandemic it has not been a lot of it, and it's been very challenging too, very challenging as well. And by having this, the businesses stays open, and that's what brings the people in. That's what brings everyone in. They come on the boulevard here in Canoga Park. They check out all of the beautiful cars, some that they haven't seen in years. Yeah. Because even when I go live, when I show folks them, when they see them, yeah. I get messages and I get responses from mothers, from parents, even grandparents, saying to me, I remember this car. This was a part of my life. My dad having this, and my dad having this. Or my mom, I remember taking road trips. That takes them to a time back in their life. It's a part of them just like I know with your car that your dad had. And can you explain, the car, the car that I always see all the time with the suicide doors, and how you came about becoming the owner of that car that your dad had passed on to you?
Well, my dad has a '66 Chevy Impala Super Sport. Um, he had an older gentleman called Bill Hines, which is known as the Lead Slinger. He's the one that did all the customized work on the car. He chopped it 5.5 inches. He fit the 70 Eldorado tail lights. He flared out the body just a little bit more so you could notice. He round the front corners. He uh, he did all kinds of body work to it, and all in lead. And there's no bondo. It's all lead work. That's all they did back then was all lead work. So my dad had it, and then they did the Laker side pipes on it also, along with the suicide doors. So it was, and the car's been a work in progress for a long, long time. But he kept it going because it was always after him to let's try to finish it, or let's just keep showing it the way how it was in primer. In primer, he still got a lot of people that admired the car when it was in primer. Now that I painted it, it's holding up a lot more. We still got to do the interior on the car, but there's a lot of memories in that car between me and my dad. We took out the engine, had his friend Roy and Dolfo. They did the whole engine work for him and that. So there's just too many memories in that car. Family affair. With that car. So when he gave it to me, we always decided on things together what we were going to do to the car. That's just the way how me and my dad were. We always went over plans and take things in consideration on what we both wanted. So that I think that's what kept us going. For his car. And like I say, when we were going through the process to paint his car, we changed the colors a few times because a lot of people already had a certain color, so we were like, what, let's just do something different. And like I told him, let's do it all in different blues and purples and greens. And he was like, well, do how you want. It's funny because the painter that painted it, those are some of the ideas he wanted to do to the car back then. But my dad wasn't ready for the paint job. But it's just a coincidence how everything worked together and everything came out good. I just wish my dad was here so he could see it and enjoy a couple more cruises together. But unfortunately, he passed away, and now it's just trying to continue his legacy going. Even though he's gone, it's always still going to be his car. I'm still always going to keep him in memory in his car and just keep it going.
And that's also the main thing of keeping that legacy going of what your dad had instilled in you. What you had instilled in you. The legacy. Of what he left behind. In other words, it's like he passing the baton on to you. And folks, and let me just say this as well also too. If you have never ever seen Cookie's car before, if you have never seen his suicide car, I do urge you to go back and check out any of my videos that I do at Canoga Park Cruise Night, or when I go live again. You do have to check out his car. You do have to check out Cookie's car. It is just totally one of a kind, and I do mean one of a kind as well also too, because let me tell you something. What drew me to it is I had never seen a car without door handles or anything. That's what makes it so cool, because Cookie, like I said, when they do, working on these cars again, Sometimes they keep it back to the original of what it was, or they do something different. But seeing yours, I mean, Suicide Doors, I mean, like I said, that is just something that I have never seen before or witnessed, you know, as something that I had never had ever witnessed or anything. And you know, and all I can just say is that your car is, it's just not only unique, but just a true original, you know. A complete original, a complete original. And we got some folks watching. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, brother Jose. How are you doing today? Hope all is good and all is well. And you all are watching an exclusive live cast with brother Cookie of Brother Cookie Productions here in Canoga Park right now. And Cookie, you was explaining about, you know, about how much your dad had meant to you. And because I had looked at a picture earlier when I was getting some shots in the garage. So I saw the picture, and I'm gonna post it as well also too, of you of him and your mom as well also too. And you know what? We always in our lives we always have, you know, different people that come into our lives, and you know, that just cross paths with us as well also. A person that I would like to mention, and I also know him very, very, very well. That brother is Brother Joe Tovar, and he's also my Brewline brother as well. Brother Joe Tovar of Salvo Arte. How did you guys connect? Or in other words, where did the connection start?
Oh, Brother Joe. I know Brother Joe since I was a little kid. You know, him and my dad, they were friends. They were friends back then. I remember Brother Joe when I would walk to middle school. Brother Joe used to have a bomb out in front of his house, and I would always tell Buddy when we'll walk by, man, one of these days I'm gonna knock on that door and see if they want to sell that car. You know, it was nice, and it ended up being Brother Joe's car. You know, besides his Riviera that he had that old bomb. But you know, I started meeting Joe. Joe was part of Victory Outreach also. You know, and we helped out the Victory Outreach, Brother John, that was the pastor of Victory Outreach out here back then. He had a car show right here on Deering and Sherman Way, and they had the Midnighters come out, and Brother Joe was there with his Ribby, and I would always remember him talking to my dad all the time. Not only that, you know, Brother Joe's, you know, he's been living over here in Canoga Park for quite a few years now, you know. So we started linking up. I would say probably for the last 4 years we've been linking up since him and his work organization ACE are doing stuff around here in the community. We've been linking up together, doing things together, just like how we did the toy drive. You know, we do Cinco de Mayo together at Landmark Park. So we just been trying to work together more and more now than anything else, you know. But we've been knowing each other for many years. Yeah, so Brother Joe's good people. You know, he's always there. You know, if you even need to talk or anything, you know, him and his wife Monica. They've always been good people, and you know, always love having them around us. You know, we talk every now and then, or he'll stop by, or I'll go by his office to see what we're gonna do in that, and we always try to come up with something, you know, to do in our community and help out the younger people and that. So yeah, Joe, been knowing Joe for a long time, and you know, like I say, you know, I met Joe because of my father. You know, they would always talk cars and that, and you know, they would always see each other here and there, and that's how long I've been knowing Joe.
And I had had the pleasure of knowing Joe because he comes to our our Brewline Men's Fellowship that we have over in San Fernando every Saturday, every other Saturday that I remembered, and he was also was part of the Reformers Unanimous. It's a recovery group that he taught over at Faith Baptist
Yeah.
Church, which is not too far from here.
Yeah.
And it's so funny also too because one of the folks that he associated with, I know them. I know their family because when I first moved to California, they were the first. They were actually one of the first people, the folks that I had stayed with, and it's just so funny. It's just so funny me saying that. Here he is. I know knowing brother Joe, and he just happens to know this family. It's a Filipino family that I know very, very well that I also stay in contact with. That he knows them as well also too. It's just so funny how in a way how things just come back into full circle. And Joe, he's just a way of an awesome individual as well of the work that he does with our youth. And I always look forward to seeing him and his wife Monica as well also too everywhere that I go. And I always had him talk about of what Salvo, what his organization does and how folks can link up with him, because the main thing is we need to get to our youth before this world gets a hold of them, with so much that is going on and so much what is taking place right now. We need, we just need our youth to do something that is positive, not negative or anything. Because I know when you do your, with the cruise nights that takes place, I also see young kids that comes out, little kids as well, and they see these cars and they're drawn by it. They're fascinated by that also too. That just kind of gives them the motivation drive saying, when I grow up, that's something that I want to get. So it's a very beautiful thing too, very beautiful thing, because you got young kids that looks up to you and to that looks up to folks, such as yourself, doing something that is positive and doing something that is not negative, meaning to say that you and even myself, we're impacting lives too. Impacting lives, and just letting them know that if we done it, if we can do it, so you can too. Which also leads me to my next question for you. And I know that that you have had many health challenges, and one of them being diabetes, because you also had explained to me how you had a diabetic seizure. How do you take care and how do you handle those challenges?
Well, being a diabetic since 13 and having a diabetic seizure at that time, it plays a big part in my life. Finding out at at a young age, being a diabetic, then you had to be on insulin right away. You had to be, using a needle and that, it took a good toll on me because, I really didn't want to do all that stuff. I always questioned why did it happen to me, what could I do to get out of this, but at those times, they said, you just got to do insulin, you want to keep on being on this earth, you got to be on follow the guidelines of a diet, stuff like that, and, continue doing your medicine. So I've done that, I'm still doing, on insulin till this day, even though I I get tired of it, but you know, it's just something that that'll keep you going. Especially now that I got my family, my kids, and just I always tell them, look out for this. Don't eat sweets. It's kind of hard, and I guess you could say like in a Mexican family or even in the black family because the diabetes runs in our bloods. That's you hear that story all the time from people. That I meet. Oh, what's in my family blood and that, and it's like yeah, that's how it happened to me. You just doesn't happen to anybody. Just I guess it just ends up being in our blood system and that, but we're the only ones that could really could control it. Even though doctors tell you this and that, but half the time I don't even think these doctors know what they're even saying, anyways. They just get paid to do what they got to do, but they don't know how what we go through. They don't know the life changes. They don't know the struggles. You know, all I do is I just fight it and keep me going. Just try to do my best and not let it get the best of me. I seen I seen other people that are diabetics. As soon as they get a foot chopped off, a toe chopped off, or something, they start going downhill. Instead of having the consideration of just thinking positive and yeah, you lose a toe and that, but try to do something to save the rest of your toes, or or even your finger or something, because you always got to take care of them. You always got to take care of your feet and your hands. Once you start letting that go, then it's downhill for you. You know, I seen it happen to a few people. And that's all that stays in my mind. Don't try to let it get the best of you. Don't start breaking down, because once you break down, it starts eating you up. And me, I try not to think that way. Just try to look out. Be careful what I eat and that. But even now that I'm on dialysis, I just started with dialysis a year ago. Not hardly nobody really knows about it, but I've always been a close person. I never really talked to anybody about my health or anything like that. 'Cause, sometimes I used to say to myself, you know, some people just want to know just to be nosy, and there's some people that you know you don't know, but they're actually going through it. Like I just I found out about two other buddies of mine that they're gonna start with dialysis, which was a big surprise for me because I didn't think of anything about it. But just like they didn't know I was going through dialysis till I started posting on my Instagram stories. So early in the morning, being there and them asking, "Hey, where you at so early in the morning?" Well, I'm on dialysis. Oh, you're on dialysis? Yeah. Then they'll tell me, "Hey, how is it?" I said, "It's something you gotta adjust to, but if it's gonna keep us here a little bit longer, what can we do? We gotta do it. Can't fight it. It ain't gonna do no difference. It's depending on our age, depending on how bad we've been diabetics and all that. All that takes a toll on us. And sometimes, when I was younger, sometimes I would slip. I would always act like if I was doing my insulin, but it wasn't, because you get tired of poking yourself out. Doing it for so long. Now sometimes I kind of regret it. I wish I didn't skip. And go a few times cold turkey. But I always like to experiment. I guess you could say on myself. See how far I could take myself to being sick from the diabetes and that, and but if I would have known now what I do now back then, I wouldn't have done it. But like to say, you're growing and all that. think things are gonna be different, but fortunately, diabetes and cancer are like the two that sometimes they won't go away. Cancer does go away, but you could always retrieve it back. Diabetes, the only thing with that, you're always gonna have it. It's never gonna leave your body. Even if you get a new pancreas or something, you might end up getting it back again. I've heard that story from a few people too. So you just gotta deal with it. And it's just like the same thing with the kidneys. Some people get a kidney transplant, they'll be good for a little bit, and then the kidney goes out. It all depends on your body. If your body accepts things, then you'll make it through. But if you just gotta, just gotta fight it. That's the way I see it. I've been a fighter. I've been through many things in my whole life. Like I tell some people, I'm living my second life. I could have been gone when I got shot. But obviously I'm still here. God kept me here for a reason. Throws a lot of things at me where I say, man, why did I get thrown into a lot of stuff? I didn't ask for a lot of stuff that happened, but like I tell people, it's just God challenging you and seeing if you're gonna accept or you're gonna reject, and I don't know, a lot of things have changed my mind about a lot of stuff, change the way how you live and that, but the only thing is you can't give up, regardless of any illness you have. Don't give up. But once you give up, I seen it go downhill for a lot of people. And when I started with my kidneys, I started giving up. And that was because of a personal reaction that I had. Just finding out about gonna be on dialysis and that. I was thinking I was gonna end up passing before I even started on that, and I wasn't taking care of myself no more after that. As soon as I started finding out about that, I was kind of giving up. But then my kids, they play a big part in it. Always making sure I'm okay. My youngest daughter, she would always be around when I felt like breaking down, but I wouldn't, because she would always be right there by me. So I would just, suck it up and just deal with life. And like I say, I never really talked to anybody about my health or any of that. I've always been a close person. Regardless of any situation I've been in, never really spoke on it. Just like I used to have some people that would want me to go talk when I got shot. It's like, I can't do that. How would I be able to go talk to somebody about me being shot if I'm being the same way when I got shot? I'll make myself be a hypocrite. I can't do that. If I'm gonna go talk to these younger kids, I would have to change my whole lifestyle. And I wasn't ready to change either. So it's like, I can't go talk to nobody. I'll be my own hypocrite. And me, basically, I'm not a fan of hypocrites. So I would never go talk to nobody, And even though as much as some people want me to go talk to younger kids and that, couldn't. I didn't have the full heart to go talk to younger kids about gang violence and being shot. I have to turn you down. If I'm not fully going the right path to talk about it, can't do it. And some people will get, the people that would want me to go talk will get mad, but I was like, no, dude, I'm not a hypocrite. And I know that would nick me in my butt later on for me not liking them, and then me trying to be one after. That's a big no-no for me. I had too much pride in myself to do that. But here and there, I'll talk to some of the kids. If I feel the heart, or some of them really need to hear it, I'll let them know. But I also let them know, you gotta have the full heart to change a certain way, or just pay attention to what you're really doing, just take it from there. Like I say, I talked to a few people about things, but to really go out to these other organizations and talk all big, and I couldn't do that. Even to this day, I still can't. I still can't do that. It just, like I say, you gotta just have the heart, and you gotta feel pretty strong to do those big commitments. I just rather, like I say, if I see a kid struggling and I know, then try to let them know what, give them a little heads up, but you really can't do too much, because some of these kids want to experiment on their own, and basically, you gotta let them learn on their own, It's kind of like the same things I had to do, sometimes you had to learn things on your own and that, but another thing I have learned too, you can't blame your parents for the way how you grow up either, it's the way how you choose your life, that's something I always told my mother and my father, hey, don't worry about how things are, you guys did your job as raising us. It's just us choosing the lives that we want. We want to experiment, and we experiment. There's no need for you guys to feel bad. Oh, why my child turned out that way? If it all depends on the child, we're the ones accountable for it. That's what I say, and that's what I tell people also. That you can't, no matter if you're type 1 diabetic, type 2 diabetic, don't let it get the best of you. You make your life out of it. Don't give up. Because giving up is the least thing. Like they say, giving up is like for the devil. And let the devil take over you, whatever situations they are, illness wise and that. But just try to take good care of yourself. Being a diabetic or kidney failure or cancer. Try to do what you do. Don't miss a treatment on anything, because, like they say, you miss a treatment on certain things, you don't know how much time you're gonna have there. Because when they're trying to help you out, it takes a little longer to try to bring you back to that 100%. And I seen it also, when I'm at dialysis, and you see some of these other patients that are there, they're not here for a few days, and then you see them when they come back. You see them struggling just to take out that excess water or anything, what you do wrong, and you just put yourself in their shoes, like, man, what if I mess up? That's gonna be me struggling or anything, and with these illnesses, it's hard, especially if you have no control, Yeah, you could do the diets, you could change the way you eat, but it all just depends on how you really are, and stress is another thing, stress takes you to another level, and I used to have that a lot when I was working, I was assistant manager for Target. There, I was always, I would say every 2 months I was in the hospital for stress, until my doctor used to tell me, hey, slow down, man, because pretty soon we'll be digging something for you instead, because, all the stress is what's going to lead you to, killing you. And, you got to stop and think about that, and, you got to stop and think about your family. There's a lot of things that you got to stop and worry about, that you got to just put the brakes on sometimes. But, as long as you get the energy and it keeps you going and going, more power to you. And, that's just one thing with me, I could be in the hospital for 3 days or whatever. I'll come back out, and me automatically I have to do something, either do something around my house, work on a car or something, or do an event, do something, and, just to keep me going. And that's just that's just the way how I take care of myself and been around things, and I guess you could say that's my life. Just come out full force and take things by the horns instead. Instead of it getting you and just bringing you down. But yeah, just anybody that's in any kind of illness, don't let it get the best of you. You just put your mind, work straight on it, and try to do the best you can. And just monitor, your medicines and everything, and just keep live every day like it's your last day. That's what I tell people. Because you ain't, we're not promised to be here that long. And anything could happen to us any minute. And sure enough, that's just like one day I'm fine, next day I get shot, and then you're in a hospital, with a tube inside of you, can't talk, can't visit nobody, you can't really do much, can't move around, so you really don't want to go through all that. I really don't wish that on nobody, but sometimes, sometimes some of us go through, certain things, and it's just hard, but just take good care of yourselves, and just especially if you're a diabetic, make sure your feet are clean, make sure you bandage up your toes or something. You get a cut or something, you don't want to get that infected, because once you get infected, you get that gangrene or something, and next thing you know, it start chopping off your toes. It ain't something good to look at either. You need your feet, you need your hands. Without that, you ain't got nothing. People, even though people might say they're gonna be there for you when you're in a wheelchair, but you really don't want to depend on any of people like that either. That was one thing that I was against when I had got shot. I had a bullet stuck in my spine. The doctor wanted to cut it out, but then there was 50% of being in a wheelchair. I was against that. Like, nope, it ain't cutting my spine, and I'm definitely not gonna be in a wheelchair. You're gonna, God forbid, you cut me open, I'm in a wheelchair, might as well just kill me, because I don't want to be in a wheelchair. I don't want to be a burden on anybody to be, trying to push me around, take me here, take me there. No, I'd rather be on my 2 feet and just keep on going. I never, how can I say, I could never really depend on anybody to really try to be there for you. I understand our parents, yes, because that's their nature. But anybody else that says that they're really gonna be there, but yet you depend on them, they're not gonna really show up, and then that's gonna bring you down. So you really, you don't want to go that way. Just keep good care of yourself. That's all you can do, and just keep on fighting and have the energy you get just to keep you going. Like me, that's how I do a lot of these shows, picnics, help out people. That's all I know, and that's all that gives me where I get my energy from sometimes. Like I said, I have a lot of people that tell me, man, you do way too much. If I don't do too much, I get lost. I'd rather not be lost. I'd rather be, where I'm more focused. So I just keep on going that way.
And that's the thing also too. And one thing that I will say to you, that I will tell you right here and now, you may have diabetes, but diabetes does not have you.
Yeah.
You may have diabetes, but it does not have you. And I can say firsthand, I have lost 3 people to this dreaded disease. My grandmother, my cousin, and my aunt. Lost all 3 of them to this, And I always tell folks all the time, that if you're a diabetic, and I always tell them, keep the numbers happy.
Yeah.
Keep those numbers happy, because you're needed in this community. In other words, your work is not done on anything. Just like what you said a few minutes ago of how being shot, and this your second chance. God would have taken God would have taken you off of this earth long time ago.
Yeah.
But nah, He has you here for a reason.
Yeah.
God has you here for a reason, and I see that because by you still keeping going, keeping on, and also keeping on pushing. Your kids, they need you. They need their dad.
Oh yeah.
They need their father.
Yeah.
You know, and what you're doing, like I said, what you're doing is your impact. You're leaving an impact on them as well, also too. You're also impacting their lives. Hey, Sister Linda, we got some folks that's watching you. Hello, Sister Linda and Brother Jesse. How you doing from the Bomb Pride Car Club? Brother Matthew, Brother Marcelino, watching all the way up in Palmdale. Brother, I hope you had a good time with your family, and you're all watching this live coverage of an exclusive interview that you'll never get to see or watch anywhere with Brother Cookie of Brother Cookie Productions here in Canoga Park. Brother Cookie, let me ask you this. Where do you see the future of cruise night or low riding, of how it is right now? Do you think that something like this would continue to go on, on and on, that your kids will run it? In other words, that the next generation would run it?
Oh yeah, I see it continuing on. Just like my son's continuing with the photography and all that. He started when he was 3 years old. Messing around with the camera. Even though I used to get mad, hey, what are you doing with my camera? But then I look, I'm like, man, you take some good pictures being 3 years old, 4 years old around that time. And here he is now, 14, doing a lot of good shots and that, going to, he's enthused into the cars also, I think it's something good, and it will continue into the future, because, low riding is always going to be around, as long as there's cars around to fix up and that, it's always going to stay around, regardless of what it is, if it's painted or primer or down to bare metal. As long as the cars are around and you could get a hold of them, buy them, and that, I would see it continuing for another 20, 30 some years probably. There probably might be more new advanced stuff. People are gonna probably do to the cars. Back then it was just paint and hydraulics. Now you got people engraving, doing all this extra stuff to the cars, which you didn't see back in the 60s, 70s, or the 80s. Now you're seeing all this new stuff coming out. So I'm pretty sure, down the line there probably might be more new stuff for the cars, and it's something good to, for the kids too, because, a lot of the kids are picking up on it now, Some of the kids are trying to bring back the lowrider bikes. You start seeing some kids working on the remote control car models, building models. So, I think as long as cars are always going to be around, the scene will still be going strong another 20, 30 some years. I see it a plus going, and, hopefully there'll be, even the entertainment scene are getting involved now with the lowrider scene and stuff like that. Look at the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl got big with Tweety and all them guys, to be there for the halftime. So people are starting to entertainment. Big entertainment people are starting to enjoy the lowrider culture and that. So it's good. It's pretty good. So I could see it keep on going, especially with our kids. If our kids are growing up into it, that's some of them talk that they want to continue it going, and if they have the back support, they'll keep on going. So yeah, I see it going for a couple more years. Yeah.
And you also mentioned just a few minutes ago with the with the lowrider scene. What did you think? And you can be honest about it, and I want your unbiased opinion. What did you think of the halftime Super Show when you saw those lowriders over at SoFi Stadium of the Super Bowl that took place not just recently?
It's something good, it's showing the positive, it's showing the positive of the lowrider scene, in the Super Bowl. You get a lot of these people that judge us, just by the way, having tattoos, the way you look, and right away they think, oh, well, they're gang members with, fixed up cars, or they're drug dealers. There's nothing about that. You got doctors that are lowriders. I know a couple of them from a lot of these big car clubs that are doctors, lawyers. I even got one guy that was a judge, and he had a lowrider. There's even some cops that have lowriders, sheriffs that have lowriders. But you wish that they could see all the real positive, that we put in, into the cars, put our time into it. It's like like some people tell me, you're always gonna have a person judgmental you guys. I said, yeah, no matter if we do it right, do it wrong, they're always gonna be judging. You're either gonna be a good person to somebody or a bad person to somebody else. But there's a lot of good things that you can get out of lowriding. You're trying to teach the younger kids about it. Like this guy that I know up in Ventura. He was taking. He decided to do a show at one of the juvenile halls out there. He's just so the kids that were in there in juvenile hall would try to get a different look at life. Seeing the cars, and a couple of the guys would go talk to the juvenile kids about about cars and that. Try to change their mind about things. He's like, hey, here's your chance to change. But it's up to the kids. There's a lot of things. People come to lowriders for fundraisers. Or do birthday drive-bys. Or quinceañeras. So there's a lot of people that don't realize the positive that come out of it. Even doing weddings with the cars. There's not a whole lot of bad stuff you could say about lowriding, not unless you're actually there to witness the bad things. You just can't go by what certain people say, because not all the time when you're at a function there's something bad going on. It's like I tell people, if people drink, they drink. It's part of nature. You will never be able to stop drinking at a show or anything. It's part of it. As long as people know how to maintain themselves, you'll be fine. But it's just the way how people act and the way how people want to judge. There's always going to be that negative towards lowriding. But if people actually see and know, the blood, sweat, and tears you put into a car, you're not really going to want to do something bad with your car being out there. Especially nowadays, you got people that have cell phones. They're going to be snapping pictures away of your car, and you're really going to do something bad while you're in your car. It's like common sense, especially have these people drive with their families in their car. They're going to really put their family at risk for doing something. It's like, you got to, people got to take all that judgmental stuff out from lowriding. But, as long as we keep proving them wrong, we should be fine. And half the time, that's what we do. We join up sometimes with LAPD, do a toy drive or donate stuff to them, or they see it. You don't get harassed as much, like how you used to get harassed back then, with the cars and that. But I think it just depends on the officers, if they want to really harass you or not. And if you're doing something wrong while you're driving, with the car or at a car show or something, we're all old enough to know what we're doing. And we all know either be on good behavior or bad behavior. But all in all, like I always saw people, you're responsible for yourself. So, I really don't think, I never really seen too much bad negative in the lowrider scene that I've been, but, everywhere is different, every city, every state, there's different things that happen. But, that's why if there's something that goes wrong, that's why you have a club president, vice president, approach them and, let them know, hey, this is going on, somebody says something, put your club on check while you guys are at the show. And normally that's what a president will, vice president go do, hey, you guys control yourselves or something, or even with the liquor, hey, don't leave too much of a mess, kind of put it in a cup or something. And, half the time they do it anyways, but like I said, it all depends on the individuals and where you're at. Every city's different, every club's different, everybody's different. It's just up to the individuals.
Absolutely, and one thing that I can say, one thing that I can tell you for sure is that of all the lowrider shows that I have been to, I have not seen no kind of negative. The 10 years that I have been covering, I have not seen no kind of negativity or anything, because when I come to it, it's all a family affair, and it's all togetherness. And what I also love even more about it is if a member of their club passes away, they all come out to support one another, and that's exactly what it's about. That's why I love it so much, and it's all the togetherness, the family. And I can tell you another funny thing also too. With me is I have a brother down in Georgia. He's seen my videos of what I do out here. He watched me, and he asked me, Tyrone, you hang out with all of the essays there? And I tell him, well, you know what? All those essays know who the Kingdom Reporter is. If you ever watch my video, okay? They all know who I am, but I am never judgmental to no one or to anybody, because I have met brothers that have been tattooed from face to all the way down to their feet. I don't look at what's on the outside, because it's what's on the inside that count. What my mother and my grandmother always told me: you never ever judge a book by its cover. You never ever judge a person of who they are on the outside, because it's what's on the inside that counts. And you can very much say, that's what makes who Tyrone is, because every show and every cruise that I go to, the interaction that I get from folks, and even more, I even meet folks for the very first time that watches me. They come up to me and ask me, it's you. Me? Yeah, you. You're that reporter. You're that reporter guy. Yeah, I guess I am, ain't I? Even little kids that even come up to me and tell me that they watch me. I have had little kids that tell me that they love my videos, and then I even ask them, where's your mommy and daddy? And I talk to the parents, to the mothers particular, and I let them know that everything that I record, I make it all family friendly for everyone to enjoy. You will never ever will hear any kind of offensive language or anything that is not that doesn't look right or anything. You will never ever going to get that. Yes, there are other channels out there that does that, and I am not one of them. Yeah. That is not who Tyrone is. That is not who the Kingdom Reporter is, because whether you may or may not know it, we're all put under a microscope too, you know. because there is always, like what you said, there's always going to be judge, people that's going to judge, while at the same time we're all under a microscope because they are looking for that little kind of flaw that's in you where they want to go out there and start yapping away and start talking about it. Meaning to say, not only a jump to conclusions. I'll give you this old saying that I had got in New York, and I'm pretty sure you have heard it before. You're all up in the Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor. Okay? All in the Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor or anything. And brother, and what I want to ask you also too, how was Cookie Productions birth? How it was born. In other words, who actually gave you that name Cookie? Was it a nickname that someone gave you in your family? Was it your mom?
No,
your dad?
I had that nickname from a neighborhood friend that called me that. And see what it was. Right here at the youth center, we used to have Halloween events and that. So one year, my mother had dressed me up as a Cookie Monster, and
from Sesame Street. Okay.
Yeah, Sesame Street. And one of my homeboys was here at the center, at the youth center at that time, and just stayed with me after that. He was like, "Nah, that's gonna be your nickname now." To me, it was fine with it. I had never bothered, and I've been that name ever since, and just stayed with me. And actually, my compadre, he helped me out thinking about because I was telling him, man, I'm gonna do a name for for when I do my events and all that, but just go on. And he was like, well, why don't you just use your name and just think of something else. And I was thinking, and we both came up with Productions. So I was like, you know what? Just call it Cookies Production then. He goes, yeah, just do, me, I was always trying to keep it as to my neighborhood, my whatever I pick, try to keep it as initials close to my neighborhood. So I was like, I still got that little neighborhood stuff still in me. So I was like, I can't call this name, can't be called that name. Forget about it. Just sometimes abbreviate it, CP for Cookies Production, and that's it. I'll just go along with that, and that's where I have my logo came into it also, which I have tattooed on me as one of my symbols. So I was like, you know what? There's no way that anybody could say that that's theirs, because obviously it's tattooed on me. It's something that my compadre drew for me, so it's ain't like nobody could say it was theirs. Even though now people try to do the artwork like it, but I was like, you know what, I'll just stick with it. And I started that back in 2000. I started that right around when I started with my Dia de los Muertos. So that's why I just keep it going ever since. But that's how Cookies Production started, was back in 2000, and getting the help from my compadre on deciding on her names, because I was running by certain names with them, and we were like, nah, doesn't go. And then he would come up with a name, and I'll be like, nah, don't kind of really go with me. So I was like, forget it. Let's just go with Cookies Production instead, and keep it plain and simple, and like I have. That was another thing I had with other people. They're he's still acting like a gang member or CP. It's like, no, there's plenty of it doesn't always got to stand for that. It stands for what I do. And when I came out with my business cards, get people's mind a little different, and but like I say, I'm too much homegrown that I can't leave it alone. So that's how I came up with my Cookies Production, was out of that.
And you know what? And that name that, and folks, and Cookies Productions, that is one of those names that will always that will always stay locked in your brain, because when you also think of Cookie's Productions, you think of Brother Cookie over here as well also too. This brother that had put this all together. And as I'm going any further, we got hello, Sister Susie Ward. How are you doing? She's watching all the way from New York right now. They're actually 3 hours ahead of us right now, watching all the way from New York. Thank you so much for watching. Hello, Sister. Hello, Brother Merle. That's watching. Brother Jose, and let me see. Hold on, Sister Lisa. Thank you. You know what, folks? Thank you all so much for watching this interview. And I hope, any young person that's watching this today, I just hope that, you feel, that you feel inspired and determined, of what this brother has shared with each and every one of you. And before I go any further, one more question that I want to ask you, and I actually had the pleasure of covering this as well back in I believe it was in October. I remember it was October of last year. The Dia de los Muertos Festival. I hope I pronounced it right, but you can say it better than I can, because I had somebody a viewer ask me of what is the significance of that holiday. How was it born? And I also even tell them that it's a day of it's called the Day of the Dead in English, but they celebrate their life. Can you explain, what Dia de los Muertos is about and how it came about, and how often is it celebrated?
Well, Dia de los Muertos is celebrated the first weekend in November. It's All Souls Day. That's where you remember all your loved ones that have passed away. Normally you do an altar. You share pictures of the people that passed away. You pick some of the food that they like. You always pick there's a flower. I keep forgetting the name of the flower, but there's a flower you always put in the altar. You have candles lit. You put their favorite foods that they had. Well, me, I normally when I do my altar for my dad and my grandparents and my godmother, I put their food, put their their drinks that they like, either if it was a beer or tequila. Like for my dad, I put his car model was 66 for remembering him, because he loved his car, so I put that. Usually, when we have our festival, it's always the first Sunday for November when we do it, and then you start November 1st, and the 2nd you celebrate for All Souls Days. That's what it's called. And you just normally you go to the cemetery and you decorate the headstones, and some people go and picnic at the cemetery with their loved ones, and like if they're still here, it's just remembering them, feeling their soul, that they're still around with you. And that's the whole point of the Dia de los Muertos. And it's from people in Spain do it, Latin America does it, everybody's getting involved in it now. And, even when we started to do the show here, some people were kind of against it at first, because they were thinking that it was like you're bringing the bodies back up. It's like, no, we're not bringing the bodies up. You're just remembering the loved ones that passed. It's a big celebration. Put it that way. You have the Aztec dancers that come out. You have them that they bless. They go around bless the altars. You even get blessed if you want to get blessed. Your option to that. And you're just telling stories about your family, the ones that have passed away. Keep their, well, I always call it legacy for your family going on, and that's what Dia de los Muertos is about. Just remembering the loved ones that passed.
And even at the same time, you're also keeping their memory alive as well also too, because when I do cover that, I also, explain, some of my loved ones have passed on, my grandmother, great grandmother, even my dad,
Yeah.
aunts, cousins. I include them. I also include them in that as well, also too. I always include them, and I would never think of them as being gone. As I tell any person, they just moved on.
Yeah.
Not just moved on. It's another word of that. They changed their address. That's it. They changed their address. They changed the address. That's all. That's all of what they have done and what they had did. And like I said, when I come, when I always go to your, when I cover it, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I love it. I enjoy it. When I see the pictures, including of your dad, and of your dad, it feels like I have known them, even though I have never met them. And the stories of what folks have told me, it's like you have known them, but you have never met them or anything. Like you have that deep connection, and that is a very, very beautiful thing. Very beautiful thing. And I do encourage you, still continue. Look, as long as you still continue doing that, I will still continue to be here to cover it, okay? Yeah. I will still continue to cover it. Yeah. Brother Cookie, looks like we had covered a whole lot of ground today. And before I go any further, this coming Saturday, and I am going to plug this in right now, March 5th, right over here at Canoga Park, Cookie Production is also going to be doing his cruise right here in Canoga Park on Sherman Way between Canoga and Owensmouth. I do strongly encourage you, and bring your kids as well also too. There are plenty places along on the street, plain storefronts of where you could go eat. And I do believe they always have like a food truck or something from time to time. They always have a food truck. But let me tell you something, the cruise nights that they always do on Canoga Park, it is just something to see. And not only that, I just get very, very excited about it. So this coming Saturday, March 5th, right here in Canoga Park on Sherman Way between Owensmouth and Canoga. Awesome cruise night like you have never seen before. It starts at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. But the only thing, and what Cookie only just asks each and every one of you, those of you that comes out, please respect the boulevard. And please clean up after yourself, because remember, your mother and your girlfriend, they are not there to clean up after you or anything, okay? So do clean up after yourselves, because by the folks that see that you clean up after yourself, that will also encourage, encourage Cookie, to do more of it, Come have a good time, no drama. None whatsoever. Just come and have an awesome time. And I do believe coming up in June, correct me if I'm wrong, you're also going to be having a summer picnic as well also too at where?
Grand Park. Yeah, Grand Park in Mission Hills.
And you can also find that information on my Facebook and also on my Instagram page as well. And if you also would love to follow this brother Cookie as well, you can also look him up. All of his information is on my Instagram and also on my Facebook page as well. Do look him up, and I challenge any large corporations out there that would love to sponsor this brother right here. Do get in hold of him. Oh, Sister Linda says, good interview. Tyrone, say hi. Hey, Linda, Kilky's right here. Linda saying hi to you, hi, Brother Linda. Jesse's wife.
Hi, Jesse.
Brother Jesse's wife. Thank you all so much once again for watching this exclusive interview, and this interview that you're also watching, it is also will be uploaded onto my YouTube page for everyone to see as well also too. Brother Cookie, thank you once again for this time, and I do appreciated. And we had a good time also too, because because let me tell you something. This brother has shared stories with me like never before. Hey, and Brother Joe, hold on, wait a minute. Brother Joe Tovar is on here. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me see if I could try. Let me see if I could try and bring Joe in. Joe, I'm sending you. Oh, wait, okay, wait, hold on 1 second. I want to see. I had actually tried this a few days ago, and I want to. Okay, Linda, I sent you a request to see if I could try to bring you on camera. All you have to do is press the button. If you don't see it or anything, I guess we'll probably have to do it next time or something, when I interview him again. Because what I do from time to time, though, I can also bring in folks, folks that is watching. I can also bring them on camera as well also too. And you get to interact, and you get to talk to them as well also too, because that's what I do on my live cast. It's a split. I'm on to my left, and there's another person on the right side. Okay, Linda had declined. Okay, let me try. Let me see. Okay, Joe's all right. Joe is not on there. Okay. Hey, Brother Joe, how you doing? Even Joe Tovar is watching also too. Joe, much love to you as well. And Brother Joe, it looks like I'm going to come over to your corporation, Ace, one of these days and interview you, but I will definitely discuss that with you. Sometime later in the week. Ladies and gentlemen, what you have watched here is an exclusive live cast interview with brother Cookie of Cookie Productions. And folks, remember this also too. This is the brother to watch right here and now that you see him. And also do continue to keep him in prayer, that God continues to be with him, that God continues to give him, the strength, and and also have all of God's angels, encamped over him and his whole entire family as well also too. And also do keep Cookie Productions in prayer also too, because Cookie Productions, they are always out there and always on the move and on the go. And once again, Brother Cookie, thank you so much, brother. I love you and respect you, and much love to you and your whole family. Thank you once again. Thank you so much once again for this time. This is Brother Tyrone, your Global International Kingdom reporter, coming to you live here in Canoga Park. And remember, if no one has never ever told you that they don't love you today, remember that I do, and so does the Lord. And also, I love you. There's nothing you cannot do about it. And I will say this to you as well. May you live as long as you want, but never want as long as you live. May you live to be 100 and me 100 but minus a day. So I will never know that all of you beautiful souls out there that's watching this have passed away. And remember, when the Kingdom Report is not on your device is just not on. That saying has been said by my radio idol, Frankie Crocker of WBLS Radio in New York City, that I still continue to say to this day. All of you, please continue to stay safe. Enjoy the rest of the day. Much love to you all. I love you all. Please continue to stay safe, stay sanitized, and sanctified. God bless you all. I love you all. Enjoy the rest of the day. And until then, I will catch you all on the rebound. Thank you all so much, and have a very, very blessed day.